Okay, hi, last Finch. Hope I won't bore you. I'm Hugo Matsumoto, and I work at BHI, and we work on something we call the Swingnow Project, which is a family of iPhone apps. But more than that, really, it's about our founder's vision of his philosophy of less is more. And he feels that we get a lot too much information at the moment, and probably a lot of it's not quite as important as we believe it to be. So his mission is to reinvent the communication tools that we use very commonly, and he wants to do that with design and AI in the back end. So where are we now? Well, these are the three apps that we've developed: Swingmail, Swingbook, and Swingcal. Swingmail is in the App Store globally, pretty much. We released on Thursday in Japan. Swingbook will be released next week, and Swingcal the week after that. We're quite excited. These apps are a bit different to what the other apps are trying to do. Most of the apps in the productivity space provide you everything. We're trying to provide you not everything. Swingmail will only pick up mail trails where you have a conversation. We have Facebook, direct messages, and Twitter messages, as well as Gmail and iCloud. But it won't send you notifications, it'll filter them out beforehand. Swingbook is a prioritized contacts book. It only has 15 people. Now you say, well, that's just your favorites. But actually, it's not just your favorites. At the back end, the server is learning from your communication habits, and it'll pick up where you are and what time of day it is. And those 15 contacts should be changing. And obviously, the more you use the app, the better it gets at getting you. Swingcal is a very small calendar app. It only looks 1 week forward. But essentially, we use it to try and get more context about you, what you're doing in the near future, who it is that you actually want to communicate with. So, going forward, where do we want to go? Well, I mean, essentially, we're here. Very simple stuff. We're only using machine learning at the moment, and it effectively picks up your patterns and your habits. But where we want to go to is down here in the prefrontal cortex of our mind. I want the app to understand you, to really get you, have context from your email communication. And from that, it'll be able to give you suggestive behavior and more automated actions. So that's what we're trying to do going forward. And then once we have that data and that information, we want our UI to be somewhat different to what the current ones are. And we're quite into sort of beautiful things. So our designer's quite into this, and he's really trying to work on having a different UI, which will bring us a different UX based on the technology that we have in the back end. I'm working a bit faster than everyone. So that's the goal, smart apps. We've started, and we're releasing the apps right now. But the apps essentially have to change over time. We want them to learn from you, and where you go, and what you're doing. And then, going forward, we're going to try and find some beta users who are prepared to share their information with us. And that the app could have a dictionary so that it understands what you're doing. And it understands your history of communication. Essentially, we want it to try and capture your mood, emotions, and things like that, so that it can suggest things. I don't know, maybe if you get a crappy mail, that it suggests you call your mum. I don't know if we do that these days, but whatever. So it's quite an ambitious project going forward from here, and we really quite like working on that. And I have undershot my 5 minutes, but I'm done.
Any questions? So, Vicky.
I'm not so sure about my app to get me, and then I'm thinking also about privacy. So can you explain to me why I'd want to use this?
Well, privacy is obviously a concern. Like I said, when we start doing the natural language processing, it would have to be with beta users who are prepared to let a machine read their mail. But like I said, it's essentially to understand if you get crappy mail or people are swearing at you on mail, that it might be able to suggest to you to call a friend. This is simple sort of functions that we're thinking of. Obviously, we spend quite a lot of time thinking about other functions that it could do. But let's say it was Friday night, it could suggest you a friend that you know that's nearby, that you could perhaps call. And that's the sort of functionality, so that the app's actually doing something for you. No, it's not It's not me going to my contact book and looking at my friend. It's my app telling me, oh, you know what, it's Friday night. Could be your friend, time to call your friend. And that's the functionality that we're looking for that's different from what's out there right now.
I'm guessing it doesn't say if you get a crappy email, send them back.
I imagine not. Especially if it's from your boss.
I guess this is a similar question, but this suite of applications are competing against applications that are free.
Yes, absolutely.
And including some from Google that are very much also trying to achieve the same thing. So I guess what would be, if you could distill it, like the one key feature that would make someone want to pay for an app rather than use the free alternatives?
So I think, maybe I didn't get my message across. I think what we're trying to do is somewhat different to what Gmail does. And we don't actually believe that we're here to replace Gmail at all. I mean, Gmail is a fantastic service, or iCloud, or whichever one you use. But they give you everything, and that's fine. And it's an interface to look at your data, right? But it's not actually doing very much with your data other than, obviously it filters spam, can put you in groups, put you in social groups or whatever. But we're trying to add on top of that with more context. And I don't think that they're looking at reading your mail at the moment, which I think is where we want to go to.
Any other questions at all?
Does that not answer you?
Well, I was, put another way, what's in it for me? What does it do for me?
It's an app that's going to help you socialize or help you reduce the clutter in your life. Does that make
But if
sense?
you don't want to socialize.
Well, then I don't think you'll be a user.
Fair enough.
You raise a good point, though. It's obvious that these apps are not going to be for everyone. But we just want to find a core group of people who actually think this is really good. And with that core group of users, you can really work on this technology in the background. And as you get that accuracy level much higher, I mean, essentially, you know, so a lot of people come to us and they say to us, oh, why aren't you doing corporate work, you know? But to do this for a corporate is quite dangerous, right? If you don't show them certain emails, because for whatever filter you filtered it out, that person gets really upset. But at a casual level, with normal, regular users, that's less important. Most of their mail is not life or death stuff. And that's a better space to work on something that's quite experimental.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you
Swing
very
out.
much.